In December of 1970, John Lennon did something radical. He stripped it all back. No Beatles polish interwoven into the sound, none of that psychedelic shimmer. Now, this was just a man, a piano, and some of the rawest truths he had ever dared to say. This was a display of beyond commendable levels of bravery and vulnerability. Let's get one thing straight. This wasn't your typical run-of-the-mill solo debut album. This was so much more than that. It was a total purging, therapeutic, cathartic, and to some, it sounded like a scream, a passionate, primal shrieking. This is the story of Plastic Ono Band, a brutally honest album that was soul-bearing and showcased who John Lennon really was, or where he was really at post the Beatles. Let's hit rewind just a little bit. The Beatles had broken up and John wasn't easing out quietly. He was already shedding the skin of the Fab Four in interviews. Actually, with the Rolling Stone, he said that he felt like he just escaped a prison and was finally ready to talk, or able to talk. But, you know, it wasn't just all about the rebellion. There was real grief there behind it all. And at this point in time, it's important to remember that John had just undergone primal scream therapy, which is a controversial technique meant to dig up deep, unhealed trauma. And for John, it worked. He was no longer writing songs that were surface level or meant to please others, please the masses, or pander to the audience. Now, they're more of like an exercise to heal internally. The sessions began in September of 1970 in Abbey Road Studios, and he brought in our good friend Ringo Starr on drums and Klaus Voormann on bass, his oldest friend from the Hamburg days. No George, no Paul, no layering, none of the fancy effects, just sparse arrangement filled with raw emotion. The kind where silence could possibly be louder than the most piercing scream. Yoko sat by him the whole time, and not in the booth, but on the floor. She really was his anchor, and the songs, they weren't built for radio. They were built for catharsis, release. The album opens with Mother, and right from the first tolling bell, it's clear this isn't pop. He wails, "Mama, don't go. Mama, don't go. Daddy, come home. Daddy, come home." It's the undeniable sound of a boy abandoned, finally letting himself have that cry that his spirit so longed for, yearned for. And then there's Working Class Hero.
As soon as you're born, they make you feel small, till the pain is so big you feel nothing at all.
Cynical, cutting, brilliant.
A working class hero is something to be.
Brilliant. And it's so powerful because it wasn't just protest. It's easy to go down that road because it's there, but it was also diaristic. It was confessional writing, perhaps the genesis of the modern day singer-songwriter archetype style. He wasn't pretending to be a leader. He was saying, look, I've been used to, okay? And I'd be remiss if we didn't get into God.
God is a concept.
Yeah, that song. He goes down the list of the things that he has fallen out of the enchantment with. He's disenchanted by magic.
I don't believe in magic.
Religion, Elvis, and the Beatles.
Don't believe in Beatles, just believe in me.
That was the most un-Beatle thing he'd ever said up until that point. But it was also his truest, you know? Who's anyone to argue? That was just his truth. When Plastic Ono Band dropped, reactions were complicated. The critics were split. Some were over here saying that it was brilliant. It was a masterful artwork. Others, said that it was a breakdown on vinyl with quotes like pretentious pseudo profundity and cacophonous screeching. And the fans, they were right there with the critics too, also split. This wasn't the same John who wrote All You Need Is Love. This was something heavier and more confounding. But over time, something pivotal happened. People started to realize that this album was brave. It was brutally brave. And it also gave permission to an entire generation of artists to just give it up, admit that they're not okay. And it's currently clocking to me that, as fate would have it, they're still not okay.
Don't they know we're so afraid?
And with every track came a corresponding revelation, but none more than with isolation.
I don't expect you to understand.
I don't expect you to understand after you've caused me so much pain.
You've caused so much pain.
It's John facing his fame and the loneliness it brought. Then we have Look at Me. Raw, fragile, acoustic, sentimental.
Look at me. Who am I supposed to be? Look at me. What am I supposed to do? Oh, my love.
Honest. He's not preaching, he's sincerely asking, am I still here? Even Love, it's the album's quietest song.
Love is real, feeling love, you and me.
But even that feels like this whispered apology. There's infused melancholy. This wasn't John Lennon, the icon. This was John Lennon on the other side of the door, behind the legend. John once said, "The dream is over." And that's exactly what Plastic Ono Band was, in summation. The end of the dream. No more Beatlemania, no more glitz and glam, no more smiling through the pain. And he wasn't trying to build up a new persona. He was simply destroying the old one. And in the process of doing that, he did something a few rock stars seldom do. Give us the truth. The influence of this album truly cannot be overstated. It reaches far beyond 1970, and it's stretched its way over into the echoes of punk and grunge and indie rock, and it's even wormed its way into our modern pop radio. Artists from Kurt Cobain to Fiona Apple cite it as a touchstone for their music because it taught them and their peers alike that music, it could be ugly, that there's beauty in that. There's beauty in realness and rawness, and you don't have to perform. You could just be. Or you know what? Forget being anything. You could just sit there and feel and express whatever comes of that. And so decades later, Plastic Ono Band is still doing what it was meant to from the very beginning, from its creation. It's meant to start conversations, crack open hearts, and when you listen to it, you're going to be set free. And this wasn't a swan song kind of situation. This was a siren, a call to action. Sure, Plastic Ono Band wasn't easy listening, still isn't, but you know what? It was never meant to be. It was a soul shouting its way into the light. John didn't care if we liked it. He cared if it was real, and that's what made it unforgettable. That was the real magic. The Beatles were over. But John Lennon, the solo artist, the living, breathing man, was just beginning. And with Plastic Ono Band, he wasn't asking us to sing along. This wasn't a collaboration here. He was asking us to listen.